More than 13,000. That's how many people are homeless on any given night here in North Carolina. 13,000. And with the economic downturn, the homeless population is changing.
We've had those that were middle class, and because of the mortgage crisis and they losing their home, they are coming to the rescue mission to get their help. Because if you stop to think about it, I mean, they were middle class, but now if they're underwater on their mortgage, they're literally way in debt with no collateral.
That is real talk there. In Durham, 38% of the homeless population say they had to get help after they lost their jobs. 13% have a job but don't make enough to have a place to live. Families make up 18% of the homeless population, and children make up 11%. The rescue mission in Durham is one place where people can go to get help. The center offers more than just a place to stay. It helps people get back on their feet. Justin Quesinberry has the inspiring story of how one couple used the center to get their lives back.
We don't get to where we were homeless overnight.
These women come to the Durham Rescue Mission broken, hopeless, ashamed.
This destination comes when you have nowhere else to go.
The put-together woman leading the class is Rebecca Allred.
Right now, I'm not making a lot of money.
She once sat where these women sit today.
I was suicidal. I had attempted suicide. This was my room, 212.
She came to the mission in 2010.
I was dead. Like on the inside, I was just in so much pain and so weary and just exhausted from not having a safe place to stay.
She once did, though, before things fell apart. Her husband, Mike, had an electrical company. They had a nice house, plenty of money, lived a good life with his sons and her daughter. But she lost the world she knew.
We never thought that we would be to this point.
Rebecca and Mike both had bad drug habits that spiraled out of control. The darkest time came after Mike's 16-year-old son, Taylor, was killed in a crash in 2008.
It proved to be more than we could bear, and fell deeper into addiction and depression, and my painkiller addiction went to a heroin addiction.
They decided to sell their house, move to the beach, but they blew through their money.
We looked around, and all of a sudden, everything that was good in our lives was gone.
Including one another. Once separated, Rebecca turned to the mission.
This was truly the last chance I had of trying to get my life together.
Rebecca continued to speak with her estranged husband, Mike, and share her experiences from the Durham Rescue Mission. He says he noticed a change in her, so he decided to give it a try himself. He came here to the men's shelter. He soon joined her in this room, and they began a year-long program at the mission called Victory. It included Bible study and job training. Mike and Rebecca's own success led her to help teach these women who are going through the same program now.
This is home.
Rebecca's now an apprentice, working towards becoming a full-time staff member at the mission.
It reminds me every day of where I've come from.
While here, she met a woman pregnant with a little girl.
Her mother actually gave me this.
Rebecca was even there when baby Skylar was born.
Whoa!
But who would have guessed this sight? Now, nearly 2 years old, Skylar is in Mike and Rebecca's temporary custody.
She was terribly neglected when we got her.
The three of them live in a house provided by the mission, and Mike and Rebecca plan to adopt Skylar.
I could watch her for hours.
Her birth came during Mike and Rebecca's own rebirth.
We're trying to do things right with this child.
It's almost like the perfect ending to a very bad dream.
A dream that at its heart is a love story, discovering love for Skylar, rediscovering love of one another and themselves.
God prepared us for this. You know, He's prepared us. I believe He's prepared us, been preparing us for a long time for something. And we're starting to get a glimpse of some of that now.
A glimpse of what they hope is a terrible cycle broken for Skylar and themselves. In Durham, Justin Quesinberry, NBC 17 News.
Don't you love that story? Don't you wish them the best? I think there's nothing quite that brings success like a made-up mind. The Allred story inspired Governor Pat McCrory and the First Lady when they visited the Durham Rescue Mission earlier this month. In fact, the First Lady was so moved that she invited them to be her special guests at the State of the State address.
Please welcome our First Lady, Ann McCrory, and our special guests, Mike and Rebecca Allred. May God bless you, and thank you for your hard work.
First Lady Ann McCrory says it's stories like the Allreds that show us that maybe we're too quick to judge.
So many of us could sit back and say, well, why don't these people just get out of it? You know, why don't they just quit doing drugs? Why don't they just leave this battered situation? It's not that easy. These women and men have more courage than I could.
Now, to button up these stories on homelessness in our state, what's being done to solve the homeless situation? Well, currently, the state is urging communities to develop a 10-year plan to end homelessness. The plans would provide a framework for local government to help people get the housing they need. As of 2011, only 12 communities, though, developed a plan. Fayetteville, Durham, Raleigh, and Chapel Hill are among those communities.